Hi everybody, this is Mary Ellen coming from Moonrise Cottage. I'm here with the latest beautiful soul that has come to Moonrise Cottage over the eclipse. And we're wanting to share some messages with you about that journey. I'm not going to say this person's name at the moment. A really beautiful tale about a soul that Spirit calls the beloved, and my voice cracks still. We're in the very end of our journey. In a few minutes, we have to drive down to the train station, and so we just wanted to take an opportunity to allow beloved to speak and allow Spirit to speak through that entity is what they're saying. So I'm going to show you some pictures, and this beautiful goddess is just going to say whatever comes. Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, Mary Ellen. Hi, everyone. I'm just so happy to be here with everyone, and my name is Krista. And I just want to say, first and foremost, that I've been with Mary Ellen since she joined YouTube, and I always felt a connection to the work, to the messages, and I had been desiring a reading with her. But it took some time and I had to wait. And that time came I'd say almost a full year later. And when that time arose, it was almost as though the gateways opened and the land and Mary Ellen and the cards, the energy and her spirit guides spoke distinctly and loudly. And when we had our card reading, it was though magic was happening. Not only because our session ended up getting deterred by a few minutes, but we ended up having the session at 1:11 p.m. And that was by no accident at all. As the story developed, I just want to say this, that I had a desire to be with someone in the physical realm who knew and understood and understands the magnificence of the soul journey and who was divinely led by Spirit. And she was the person. When I opened myself to this request, she offered an invitation to come join her at Moonrise Cottage, and there was no doubt in my mind. When I arrived here, it was, I don't even know how to say it. It's the energy of everything, of all that has been, is, and will be, embraces you. And it has been a journey, and honestly, a journey of everything. We went into the darkness and the muck together, and yet it was all divinely led because we both stayed in our alignments we knew what had to be as a commitment to this path. And I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I think the message I'm trying to convey is that you can so trust in this sacred space, in the sacred presence, in the sacred alignment of all that is here, that comes through and is Mary Ellen, that you will be guided to everything that needs to happen for you and your soul to take that next step. For me, having done this on the super blood moon, Leo full moon eclipse or something like that, it was a portal entry. And as I have seen through other videos, you are literally, as I said, taken from the place of what was and has been, not just in this lifetime, but across your soul's journey and evolution through time and space, here, then, now, and what will be. And so you stand in this place of 0 point in stillness with all that is, so that you can be into your becoming.
Mm.
And so for all of you where this is calling, and it may not be the right time, it may be now, but just know that you are being divinely guided by just all that is. And your time will come whenever it needs to be. And you will be taken on a heart awakening journey. I should say that, expand that to an all being awakening journey, so that you can feel safe to take that next step into the unknown of your soul destiny. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Do you feel so inclined to speak a little bit about this that we're all looking at? I'm in my mind, my spirit guides are saying that's your pain journey that you were given so that you could recapture yourself in a sense. And I won't recount all the things that came out, but
Absolutely. I feel like the best way to explain this is just from just a life perspective of, I was born in Seoul, South Korea, and to a family who could not financially support me, and what I later found out was my twin as well, who came into this family. And so I was relinquished as part of an adoption plan, and for the next 4 months of my life, I spent it with a foster family in South Korea. And from there, I was adopted and just so meant to be in this family triad, if you will, because I was actually born on the day of my mom's miscarried baby. So there was just this synchronicity of knowing I was to be part of this family and live out the next part of my soul journey. Regardless of the beautiful synchronicity and the feeling of belonging with my adopted family, there was still always the pain and feeling of separation that was almost to the point where, I guess in retrospect, I can say it was almost so traumatic that I lived my life in the mental realm, because it was so painful to be in the emotion and in the physicality of things, on really what happened on an unconscious level. And I will say this, that I lived the first half of my life constantly just striving, knowing something within me about a purpose, about a destiny, about my work, about my life, and that could never fall quite into place as I had imagined it. And I'm 39 years old, and it has only been, and while this whole process has been a healing journey, a soul journey, it really hasn't been until the past few years that have just kind of pushed me up against that wall and really said it's time now. And I took that deep dive into myself, and it was excruciating at times, even though there have also been times of joy and abundance. But to go into that feeling self, into that energetic of who I am, so that soul, spirit, and body can become this embodied presence in union. And it was truly, the way I love to say it, it was that experience of separation that has led me to a realization, not only in the mental level, also in a physical level, an emotional level of connection. And just to illustrate that point, the autoimmune, in terms of a health journey, my autoimmune condition that I've been dealing with for about 10 more years has been a connective tissue disease, they call it. And so my metaphysical healing is actually translating through my physical healing, my emotional healing. And really, if I look at that moon card on the bottom row, second to the right, this to me represents last night and the portal that I went through with this space, with Mary Ellen's energy, with the guidance of ancestral spirits. Now come into a place of greater self-identification and greater self-realization so that I can hold my power. And if you look at the next row of strength,
Oops, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Strength in the Magician and the Chariot. So I can move forward in my human life as my spiritual self, if that makes sense.
And it's very, it's always, I am always amazed by the bravery of people who come here and the soul intention that brings them, despite whatever reservations, fear, questions they may have. And I love, if you look at the very top of the photograph, we see the strings of your destiny being woven together. And the fact that you came here to this place, and the tree of your life has two distinct trunks, and they are twisted together. And a lightning strike came, and something transported your journey, and you were meant to travel together in the etheric realm, bonded in that place, and separated here on the earth. It's so beautiful, and so much sweet intensity and pain, and in order to create the journey that your soul wanted to have. Wanted to experience, yeah.
Yes.
And then, like you said, you find your way here. We did our first reading at the time of the new moon eclipse. And then suddenly here you are, very rapidly. My spirit guide said, oh, it's time for you to come. And you jumped on a train, and here you are completing that cycle. And I love that it is the Chariot. After this journey, you have the ability and the power to choose your path and move yourself forward because you've done what you were meant to do. And of course, part of that is to be wholly with your pain and those tower moments and the way it felt and the way you were doing your best to work with that, and clearly internalizing some of it. And brilliant, the connective tissue challenge. It's so interesting. So this is the reading that came out last night as the eclipse came on, and I kept feeling as though there was more to the story and there was an identity that needed to emerge. And here we were at this moment of portal, and luckily, despite the massive snowstorm that was going on here, that dissipated and the sky cleared up, and we were able to go outside and be in the light of the moon. And there is something still yet to emerge. But the new cards that came out, I love that the Tree of Life is there, and this notation of having a witness and going in to the land of the fairies, challenging death, putting your arms around that, and in these moments doing the ghost dance to release the past, and then the way you emerge. And I wish people could see the cards better. Releasing your fears, and I believe there's something significant about the fact in that very center row. I think that is the soul contract in the story. And I'll be eager to see as time goes by what it is for you to be the time master and to have interdimensional travel through all these places and all these times as a soul being. In order to retrieve your soul, which is, if you look at the bottom row, it's very descriptive. And I don't know if people can see it. There's the child. And then the soul retrieval and completion and the beginning of a new journey. Whew. And the moon is there. It's just, Spirit keeps saying it's all there. So I don't know if you have something to say about that, but I guess I went on a little bit.
No,
I'm
that's
going to leave it
perfect.
there.
And by the way, Mary Ellen is a fabulous storyteller. So when there's these cards come out and it's an iteration and an evolution, and it's just the way she weaves together these spirit-led and spirit-infused stories about your soul in this way that just it's ethereal yet ground. It's just a beautiful way because like me, my throat chakra has been kind of just blocked for a while, and so I can't always articulate what it is that I'm experiencing. And so Mary Ellen really helps to facilitate that voice through her own voice as well as with your own voice. And it's a huge opening, and it's also a relief to have someone truly see you and furthermore your soul and your journey as that witness. And you transform in that witnessing process. Truly, it is a healing experience, but it's so much more that I don't have words for.
I agree, and I think it's the places for which or in which there are no words that are the most powerful events that happen when someone's here, and there's not really any way for me to really translate that with words and put it out as a message. And I'm just very grateful to Krista because the type of journey that she had was extremely unusual. It broke all the boundaries of all of what I call my fussy Virgo plans, and I just had to roll with it, which is part of my earthly learning. And something extraordinarily beautiful happened here because I allowed it, in a sense. Spirit, asked me, all right, just get out of the way, just calm down. Krista's spirit is here. It knows what it wants. You just have to sit back and make some tea. Just make tea. That's all you have to do. Make tea.
You will get your tea here. No. And it's true. And the same honestly went for me as well. Of course, there are all these sort of rigidities that come through. It's like, oh, what about? But you know your soul, and because everything is so spirit-led and divinely guided, it all falls into place as it needs to be. And believe me, I was in a place of deep I don't even know if that's a word, deep uncomfortability, to the point where I was like, this is so uncomfortable. Not because of Mary Ellen, but because of the way I needed to stand in my strength. To own myself, to own what I know, to know who I am. And it all served this greater purpose for for everything.
Yeah.
So yes, it's an experience and a journey and a sacred one at that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for your bravery, because it was an intense act of bravery to come here and be with all of this incredible story, and be willing to let go of the story so that you could emerge. And that's one of the reasons we do the mask making, because let's just encapsulate that and take it off. So we don't have a picture of Krista's mask. And I think we'll wrap it up there unless you have anything else to say, because we have to go to the train.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. There we go.